Do you ever question your relationship? Are you truly compatible with your partner? Do you ever feel so burdened with responsibilities and tasks that you lose touch with your lover? Do you struggle to get your partner's attention? These are challenges that face every couple, especially at times of heavy work and family commitments. At these times, it is easy to feel that you and your partner are on opposite sides, different on the things that really matter, and failing to fulfill each other. This happens because your relationship is out of alignment. You and your partner have lost touch on your priorities, your future, how to spend your time, and how to give each other what you really want. If you have ever felt that life was running your relationship into the ground, this film will demonstrate a series of steps for finding alignment in your relationship. These steps work even without your partner's participation or knowledge. You will see one man turn his relationship around single-handedly while his wife stayed at home. Our story is at an Anthony Robbins conference. Neil stands up to share that he is considering leaving his wife.
What's your name?
Neil.
Hi, Neil. Where are you from?
Manchester.
I love Neil right now. Do you love this guy? What's up?
My life isn't that bad. Nothing bad has really happened to me. I'm having a lot of conflict about what I should do, what I should believe, and I think basically I'm scared to death to go home.
What's going to happen when you go there? Have to make a decision?
Well, before I came here, I pretty much got a plan worked out about how to change my life, about moving forward, about finding something that was going to be more fulfilling, more joyous, but not just for me, for my family as well.
Yes.
And then literally the night before I left to come here, so it was a Thursday night, me and my wife had a big fight, which we still haven't resolved, even though I've spoken to her on the phone, sent her a text message and, been in touch. And
Let me explain something. Sending a woman a text message.
No. No, but it was...
That's the guy's ideal.
No.
I'll type something and send it. I mean, how much can she write?
Plenty.
Plenty.
Yeah. I'd spoken to her before, and I could still feel this resentment on the end of the phone, because I spoke to my daughter as well. My daughter's 5.5 years old. She said, "Oh, miss you, Daddy." I said, "Oh, miss you too, darling. Really love you." And then said, "Can I speak to Mummy?" And she was just talking about stuff, and I said, "Oh, I miss you." She goes, "Oh." I said, "You miss me?" "I've been really busy." But I didn't. Normally I would fill up and build up and fuck you. Normally I would do that, but this wasn't last night, it was the night before. And I just thought, oh, it's okay, I can, I can rise above that, I can deal with that. And I just don't know which way to go. I don't want to be in the situation to have to go home and say to my daughter, "Daddy's not going to be living here anymore," because that would just absolutely destroy me. And I don't want to do that. I want to be with my wife. I love my wife. But we don't have that many things in common. We've got a lot of different things that we value and that we're interested in. And I'm just...
How'd you pick her?
We used to work together.
Proximity.
There are 4 factors that are responsible when two people select each other to become intimate partners. The first is physical proximity. The second is chemistry between them. The third factor is the comfort of keeping the relationship. And the fourth is the commitment factor, whether something inside or outside of the relationship, such as the birth of a child, has encouraged the couple to stay together.
Chemistry?
Initially, yeah.
Comfortable?
We're great friends now. Well, actually, at the moment, we're not even great friends. We're good friends.
Yes, I understand.
We're good friends.
And how quickly before you had a child?
We've been together 10 years, so she's 5.5, so about 5 years.
Fascinating. And tell me what the relationship was like 2 years in.
2 years into the relationship. Yeah, it was great. It was great.
What was great about it?
We had time for each other. We were spending a lot of time together. I was still, spending a lot of time working really hard, but, we still had time for each other to have fun.
What's changed?
I'm working even harder than I'm doing, really early mornings to late nights. I've got outside interests as well, which she doesn't like.
What are your outside interests?
I play in a band.
Mm-hmm.
So I play, only 3 times a month, something.
And how alive do you feel when you play in that band?
Oh, awesome.
Is there anything else that makes you feel more alive?
Yeah, being with my daughter.
Because love is what you want more than significance.
Yeah.
And that's what you sensed in him when you met him. You sense that this is a man who's craving love and variety and significance.
According to human needs psychology, there are 6 human needs which are the driving forces behind all human behaviors and decisions. The first need is for certainty, the certainty that you can feel comfortable and avoid pain. The second need is for variety, the need for novelty, the ability to change your physical, mental, and emotional states. The third need is for significance. Everyone needs to find some way to feel special, needed, wanted, or worthy of attention. The fourth need is for connection, love. Everyone finds ways to feel connected with others or even with oneself. And everyone strives in some way to feel that they are loved. These first 4 needs are universal to all people. We call them the needs of the personality. People will go to any length to meet their needs for certainty, variety, significance, and connection, even if the ways they meet these needs are unhealthy or destructive. The last 2 needs, growth and contribution, are the needs of the spirit and are essential to human fulfillment. All people need to meet at least the first 4 needs in some form. Everybody values 1 or 2 needs above the others, and this determines most of the choices they make in life. Take a moment to ask, which need do you value above all others? Certainty, uncertainty, variety, significance, love and connection, growth, or contribution? What choices have you made to pursue your top need? The 6 human needs will be a key concept in understanding Neil's attempts to find happiness in his relationship and as an individual. Tony will now trace the ways in which Neil meets his needs and why these are important to him.
He doesn't feel very significant in his life. He feels significant to his daughter, and he feels loved by his daughter. Yeah. His daughter is his primary vehicle for meeting his deep desire, which is, please, please, I'll give my heart and soul. Make me feel like I'm important and that I'm loved because I'll give you my soul. True or false?
True.
It appears that Neil gets more of his needs met from playing with a band than he does from spending time with his wife. This is a sign of trouble. In many marriages, there is an outside interest, a hobby, a friendship, a career, or a habit that is very important to one of the partners. In some cases, it can become so important that the other partner begins to feel jealous, to compete with it, or try to control it. Now take a moment to ask yourself, if there were an outside interest that led to discomfort in your relationship, what would it be? Would it be something that you do or have, or something that your partner does? What needs are met by this special interest? If you like, take a moment to write your answer.
When you're in the band, you get energy, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
You also get sexual energy, don't you?
I wouldn't have thought of it like that, no.
I know you wouldn't have, because it would be inconsistent with your identity, because you're a very good boy. Aren't you?
Most of the time.
Did you feel the state change in him when he did that? How many felt that little darkness just for a second there? Now that darkness when he did it right then, he had a mixture of feelings. Like a part of it like, yeah, you son of a bitch. And part of it like, yeah, I am. You see that? That's part of him too. That's a part of him he doesn't let show up even to himself enough, because he's made that part wrong, because he's a good boy. But he's not. Nobody's all good boy. If they were, then only part of him would be alive.
Everyone has an emotional spectrum that includes dark emotions, such as sexual desire, defiance, and aggression, as well as light emotions, such as loyalty, understanding, and service to others. Dark emotions tend to involve power, willfulness, and risk-taking. Light emotions involve interpersonal cooperation, consideration, and loyalty. Both light and dark have their place in passionate intimacy. A foundation of light emotions, consideration, and commitment is essential to make a relationship work. However, some dark expression, a sense of uncertainty, risk-taking, and the expression of secret desires is important to sustaining passion. Tony suspects that something in the relationship is preventing Neil from expressing his dark side with his wife. And so while he is a good boy at home, he goes to the band to be a bad boy. Now take a moment to ask yourself, what kinds of risks do you allow to take place in your relationship? Do you go elsewhere to find challenge, risk, and uncertainty? Do you expect each other to be only light and good, or do you let each other be risky and dark? What kinds of risks do you encourage in your partner? Tony will now ask Neil to evaluate how the band meets his needs.
What instrument do you play?
Guitar.
Guitar. Tell me what it feels like when you play the guitar. Look at that. He don't even go there. It's already there, right? He knows before I even say it. What did you just feel? What did you just think?
It's astonishing, really.
Yeah, astonishing. That's a great word. So he has this astonishing sense. And by the way, how significant do you feel when you're playing in the band? Truthfully, 0 to 10.
It's like being a god.
It's like being a god.
Yeah.
And when you go home with your wife, how significant do you feel? 0 to 10, is there a minus category? Minus 10, where would you put it?
Being fair, it's probably about a 1 to 2, something like that.
Being fair, it's a 1 to 2.
Yeah.
Okay, so you feel a 1 to 2. When you're in the band, how connected do you feel to the music, to your mates, to the audience? 0 to 10.
10.
10.
Yeah.
And when you're home, how connected do you feel to your wife? Truthfully, 0 to 10.
Most of the time, 2 to 3, something like that.
2 to 3. And when you're in the band, how certain are you that you're the God? That you can just take the room, you can make it happen, you can shift it all? 0 to 10. What would you say? 10. And at home, how certain are you that you can light your wife up, make her happy? Look at that look.
Right now, I would say, again, about a 3, 4.
Most of the time, what do you feel truthfully these days?
These days, about a 3.
About a 3. Okay, so we got certainty at a 10, significance at levels of gods, connection and love at a 10, okay, and then we got 2 at certainty, or 3 at certainty, 2 at significance, 1 or 2, 1 or 2 at connection. Variety. When you're in the band and the moment's happening, what's a sense of variety in what you could do or what you might do, or what anybody might do in that moment? 0 to 10.
10.
10. When you go home, be with your wife, what's your sense of variety? 0 to 10.
Variety, about 3, probably.
About a 3. And when you're in the band and you guys go out all the time, are you guys trying to take things to another level constantly?
Yeah.
0 to 10, what's the level of growth of being in that band and figuring shit out? 10. And not what you could grow, but when you go home, how much growth do you associate to your relationship right now?
It's going backwards.
It's going backwards.
It's minus.
It's a minus. And when you're in the band, do you feel a sense of that when you're playing, that even though you're the God, you're also giving things to them in moments? And they're giving things to you with this contribution? Do you feel like you're giving something inside of yourself to that audience?
Yeah.
0 to 10 contribution. 10. When you go home and you're with your wife, not intellectually, but what you feel, how much contribution do you feel?
To my wife or to the home?
Well, okay, tell me your wife first. Did you guys see how you chunked that? Interesting. Because he needs to feel like contribution, so he's now shifting context. No, stay with your wife. I know it doesn't sound good. Just say what it is.
Probably a 2.
Probably a 2.
When one area of your life meets all of your needs at high levels, and another area of your life meets your needs at very low levels, where are you likely to spend most of your time? The biggest problem for Neil is that even though he knows intellectually that his wife should come first for him, the band is presently a much greater source of pleasure for him. He values his ability to love and contribute to his family, but he overrides his values to meet his needs with the band. Since his needs are out of sync with his values, he cannot be fulfilled. Take a moment to ask, are there any areas in your life that are in conflict with each other? Which one is more important to you? Which one meets your needs at a higher level? Neil will now try to explain how his job interferes with his family time, but Tony will not let him change the subject.
Because of work more than anything else, I'm never there.
But you could be there because you could give up the band.
Yeah.
And she'd like you to do that.
Yeah.
What do you think the chances of him giving up the band are?
No. No way. No way.
He'll give her up before he'll give up the band.
We had a fight about that about a year ago, and we came to a compromise.
Really?
It was a case of you will do something about this or else.
Oh, interesting. And what was that compromise?
That I would only play, 3 times a month, something like that.
I see. By the way, if we talked to his wife and I got her scores on him, they'd be equally fascinating, to be fair. But she's saying, here's something that makes him feel like a god, and the maximum you can be godlike is 3 times a month. And here's what I want from you. By the way, I love you.
This is the dilemma of the partner who is not being put first. Neil's wife, in trying to get his attention and his presence at home, attempts to negotiate and control his access to the band. However, this compromise only creates more distance and makes Neil feel that they are incompatible.
But she wouldn't see it that way, I'm sure, because what she's saying is you're not here with your family, you're not here with me, you're not here with your kids, you're not here with whatever. She has a different perspective, fairly. But I want you to see his window on the world first. Now you're seeing you're understanding the world that he's in. Now, by the way, daughter, real quick, certainty, 0 to 10, that your daughter and you have a deep connection, love, 0 to 10.
10.
Variety with your daughter, 0 to 10.
10.
Significance, that you're her daddy, that you're God to her, 0 to 10.
10.
Feeling connected to your daughter, 0 to 10.
10.
Feeling like you grow and help your daughter grow, 0 to 10.
10.
Contribution to your daughter.
10.
So he wants to take his daughter with the band.
She's a great singer and a great dancer.
How old's your daughter?
5.5.
5.5. So, do you love your wife?
Yes.
Why'd you pause?
I'm questioning it.
He's questioning it.
Yeah.
The reason he's questioning it is because he's not fulfilled there. So if I'm not fulfilled, how could I love her? And if she doesn't want me to be completely fulfilled, how can I love her? And even if I love her, I don't want to believe I love her because then I'm trapped.
Let's summarize what we have learned so far. Neil pursues his outside interest, the band, even though his wife disapproves, and this takes away from being with his family. Neil's wife, Andrea, wants to encourage Neil to spend more time with the family instead of with the band. In order to do this, she alternates between withdrawing emotionally and imposing control on Neil's outside interests. For instance, she sets time limits, criticizes the band, or makes an ultimatum that he stop playing altogether. Once this has happened, Neil has chosen the band over Andrea, and Andrea has chosen to control his ability to play with the band. What kind of options do they have now? If Neil chooses the band over Andrea, this will create a lasting conflict in the marriage. On the other hand, if he were to comply with Andrea's wishes to stop playing with the band, then he would feel that he has given in to someone who doesn't understand his needs. It would be difficult for him to feel enthusiastic about her, and it would be difficult for her to meet his needs if she cannot give him what he wants most. Andrea's options at this point are difficult as well. She can either watch Neil choose the band against her wishes or see Neil complying unhappily with her control. She's likely to feel that Neil would rather be playing with the band than spending time with her. This is made worse by the fact that Neil already seems to prefer his daughter's company. Clearly, this game can have no winners as long as Neil and Andrea are not on the same side about his outside interest. But how do they change that? Tony will begin by looking at the specific ways in which Neil meets his needs outside of the marriage.
His daughter gives him some of that masculine. It gives him the light masculine, serving. But his band gives him the dark masculine, and he wants both to feel alive. Now, your wife, light or dark?
Light.
Did you see his face? Light. Not only light, but kind of bitchy light right now for you, right?
Yeah.
But you know she's light.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons you don't stay mad at her.
No.
Because you know her intentions are good.
Yeah.
And you know you have been up.
Yeah.
That makes it harder. Because if you hadn't been up, you could make a clearer decision. And you are responsible. And you haven't been there in every way you could be.
No.
And you really haven't done your full part. And you are out in the band while she's back with the kid and dealing with shit that she doesn't like. And you know that.
This is the typical scenario for couples with young children, where often one parent has heavy child-rearing duties while the other has heavy responsibilities as a provider. Under the strain of these duties, many relationships become mostly light, based on loyalty and cooperation, but lacking excitement, variety, and darkness. Think of it this way. Andrea wants to control and influence Neil. She expresses that in a light way by appealing to his loyalty, his commitments, their togetherness. However, there is another way to influence your partner, by appealing to their darkness, through seduction, playful provocation, and by acting on fantasies. Andrea probably would have been more effective at influencing Neil if she had chosen to appeal to his bad boy side. Instead of trying to control or influence him by complaining or picking a fight, she could try to influence him by seducing him. On the other hand, Neil probably could have reassured Andrea about his band playing if he had given her some of his bad boy energy before and after playing with a band. Now take a moment. Think of something you would like your partner to do. Do you ask them to do it? If so, how do you ask? Has your communication been effective? Have you been asking in a light way or in a dark way? What would happen if you were to ask for the same thing by appealing to your partner as a bad boy or a bad girl? Can you think of appealing to your partner in a way that may surprise them, but which they would probably appreciate?
Well, a band member would know what to do, but that would be a different decision than a father would make, and certainly a different decision than a good boy would make. But a man would make another decision. What's a to do? And I'm going home soon.
It said do a concert at home, but she hates the music.
Oh, no, she doesn't.
She does.
No, she doesn't. What does she hate? Tell me what she hates.
No, she really does not like rock music.
Never has, or she doesn't like it now?
Never has.
So when you guys first met, what music did you listen to?
Well, the weird thing was as well, I had, the long hair and...
You had long hair?
I had the long hair and
So were you a bad boy when she met you?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And now you're just this little good boy pussy.
Cut the hair.
Cut the hair off. Got responsible, shaved. Got a good job.
I had a good job anyway.
Yeah, had a good job. Well, I didn't keep... Look, he's got pride. Had a good job. I don't have it anymore. So what took you from bad boy to good boy? You were always a good boy, too.
Yeah, but I've always been a bad boy as well.
I know, but that's not what I asked. I said, you've always been a good boy, too, haven't you?
Yeah.
In fact, this is not a new fight for you.
You got that right.
That's why I liked you from the moment I met you. I understand that battle. Because you want to do the right thing, but you want to be free.
Yeah.
And the easy choice would be to leave your wife.
Yeah, it would be, yeah.
Even though it's also hard. Because you want to feel alive, because it feels dead not to be everything you are. And it also feels insane to have to fight when you're really trying to serve and all you're asking for is the space to have that other part of you be alive. If you just give me enough space to keep that alive and not make it wrong and just love me a bit and understand I love you, I'd be here forever. All I want's a little bit of connection and a little bit of significance, that I am doing all these things, and that my intent is pure. How far off am I?
Bang on.
This is the position of the provider, who nevertheless wants to be able to pursue his or her outside interests. It seems that what Neil is asking for is only fair, but there is something that he's not understanding about his wife's perspective.
Well, if I asked your wife, what's her name?
Andrea.
If I asked Andrea, score Neil for me, how significant does he make you feel? Let's do that. I want to switch hats. You're in her body right now. Mm-hmm. And I'm asking you, Andrea, tell me about Neil over there on the screen. Tell me, how significant does he make you feel, 0 to 10? You know, when he leaves, never comes home, makes the band more important than you are. He knows how you hate that rock music and he wants to go play it anyway.
Maybe a 3.
3. Does he love you?
Yes.
He does. How loved do you feel, though, these days, 0 to 10 by him?
3.
3. And how certain are you that he's going to stay and love you?
8 or 9.
8 or 9. How certain do you feel, though, in moments about that?
I think an 8.
You're thinking as yourself right now. How many ladies agree with me? Raise your hand. This is where you're deluded.
Putting yourself in your partner's place can be difficult because if you do it right, you may encounter a thought, feeling, or possibility that you do not want to acknowledge. Neil's delusion is that he imagines that his wife feels stability in the relationship even though they are fighting and even though he has been thinking about leaving her. Take a moment to ask, what are the needs that you are not meeting for your partner? How would your partner score your ability to meet his or her needs for certainty, variety, significance, connection, love, growth, and contribution? How has your partner been asking you to meet these needs?
She projects that because if she were to project anything else, she thinks she might get some ideas. Think it might be acceptable. She don't want you to get any ideas. If I show any weakness, like I'd even consider that, then you might consider it. No way I'm going to show you that. Let's say it isn't it. How much variety does he bring home to you? Surprise, triggers, desires, playfulness you don't expect to serve you, to light you up. 0 to 10.
5.
5. So we got a 5 on variety, an 8 on certainty, a 3 on love, 3 on significance. How much are you guys growing together?
None.
0?
0.
How much do you feel like he's trying to contribute to you? From your perspective, Andrea.
Probably a none.
Pardon me?
Probably 0.
Probably 0. So here's a man who wants to contribute nothing to you, doesn't even, on a 0 to 10, thinks you're a 3 in importance. On a 0 to 10, thinks you're a 3 of love. You know, give you a 5 of variety, but he's sticking around at an 8. What would you want to do to him, Neil?